What is up, people? It's your boy Anomaly Beats. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe because for you it's a brand new day. For me, it's back to back recording. So, yeah, the grind never stops. Today, I want to talk about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, particularly when it comes to the 7 year rule. Now, I'm not here to expose it, I'm not here to debunk it, I'm not here to tell you it's a lie. No, it's an actual fact. The United States government, it's a federal law passed into that says that negative items cannot stay on your credit report for more than 7 years. Now I've seen this talked about on like shows like The Breakfast Club and social media and TikToks and all over the place, right? But there's an aspect that people don't talk about that really does affect you. So when it comes to the 7 year credit reporting act or the 7 year rule, they call it the 7 year rule, right? All over social media or Breakfast Club, they're like, oh, if you just don't pay for 7 years, then everything restarts. So just don't pay. 7 years can be a long time, like a long time, like for real. So like, let's take for instance a 20-something-year-old punk kid who hears this information, 22 years old, and they might have gotten into debt, they might have gotten into credit card debt, car loans, whatever the case may be, and they're like, oh, my job cut my hours because of the pandemic or whatever. Like even back then, 2017, 2015, whatever the case may be. I heard that if I just don't pay for 7 years, then things are good. It's true. It's true. It's federal law. But you're basically saying, and this is the aspect that I want to talk about, that for the next 7 years, you're not going to do anything. You're 22 years old, or 32, or 42, or what, the age doesn't matter. This is just a hypothetical situation. Let's say the 22-year-old decides to do that. They're 26, they're 27, and they meet someone, and the person's graduating college, doing their thing, and you're there, and it might be your soulmate. You might actually meet someone, and that person's like, well, I'm graduating, I'm going to Vegas. They might shy away from you because you don't have like financial backing, you don't have credit cards, you don't have something where you can say, yeah, I'm gonna go to Vegas too. Yeah, yeah, dude, I got my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like that person might not cover you. You know what I'm saying? Or you decided to not pay at 22 for 7 years, and now you're 26, 27, and you're like, property, real estate. Oh, all of a sudden you get ambition, and maybe even somebody might link up. Maybe you know someone, and someone's like, yo, I'm about to get this 2 unit house. It's valued at 250. Yo, you want to join? Like a legitimate person, obviously, not like a scam, but like someone that you know, like a family member, like a nurse, a doctor, and you might not be able to do it. You might lose out on a potential big deal because you have no credit. You're like, oh well, at 22 I just decided not to pay. Who knew that at 26 my cousin is about to buy a property and literally offered me a cosign agreement to, like, cosign, put some money down, give my credit, and we'll go in on a $250,000 house. You know what I'm saying? But you missed out on that opportunity. You might miss out on the person that might have been your soulmate. You missed out on getting a real estate property. Like people don't talk about the aspect. They just say like, just don't pay for 7 years. So for the next 7 years, nothing's gonna happen. And the other aspect that I do want to talk about, if you're if you're like super in debt and you're super stressed and you're depressed and you're thinking about harming yourself, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, 7 years, I'm good. For the next 7 years, I'll work on myself, I'll work on my business, work on my job. I can't deal with that. Like, don't do harm to yourself or get in a depression because you owe all this money. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that aspect too. I don't want people to hurt themselves either. So there are safeguards, whether it is bankruptcy or making payment plans or not paying at all, whatever the case may be. Just don't hurt yourself. Like, chill. But that's an aspect that because like, again, whatever age you are, you decide to stop. Life doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? You might meet someone, a family member might come along and say, oh, I'm getting a property, come sign with me. Maybe somebody might come along for you to start a business with, like a hugely successful, profitable business, and you might miss out on all of that. And this is like a very sensitive rule because I spent years and years fighting credit bureaus and fixing my credit. I was one of those people. I was one of those people who said, "Oh, I'm just not gonna pay for 7 years and everything will be good." It was a bad move on my part. I really wish I would have gone back then. Like now I'm fine, but I really wish I would have gone back then and be like, "Yo, even if it's just a minimum payment, even if it's just a minimum payment, like even if you owe that card for the rest couple of years while you work and grind, just make the minimum payment so you can keep the creditors off your back." Because another aspect was like I fell victim to this. I fell victim to this, right? I decided not to pay for 7 years because after 7 years things were just clear, right? After 5 years, and this is when you owe to companies, they're always going to call you during tax season. They're going to call you during tax season, and they're going to use all types of scare tactics. This is valuable information, so like, comment, subscribe. Like this is real valuable information. They're going to call you during tax season, and they're going to use scare tactics. Oh, you owe us a car loan. Um, we see that your student loans are backed up, or this is Chase, you still owe us on this credit card. But they know that you're going to be getting money soon. So they're going to say, why don't we settle it? Remember that credit card you owed us for $1,200? Why don't we settle it right now for $400? And you're like, well, I'm getting taxes. My taxes are 1,200, and I can settle this card for $400. And you're like, because they know you're getting taxes, and you say, you know what? Just to settle it, or because you think it's gonna help your credit, you pay the $400, even though it's been 5 years. 5 years. The moment you make that payment, it restarts all over again. So not only did you just spend 5 years waiting, the moment you paid those $400 because it was supposed to settle, now you have to wait another 7 years. That's 12 years. 12 years. And trust me, they got me good. They got me good. It was for, I forget what it was for. It was for something that I owed. And the lady calls. She calls me. Hey, am I speaking to this person? Yeah. Well, we see that you have this loan. You got this credit line. You got this. You got that. We're coming after you. We're taking your paycheck. And I get scared. I'm like, yo, this lady knows everything about me. Why don't we make a payment plan? And I'm like, all right, yo, because we're gonna garnish your paycheck. We're gonna garnish your paycheck for $200. And I'm like, man, it's about to be 7 years. Can they really do this? I'm not making a lot of money. She caught me. She caught me in a scam. A month or two later, that I'm making payments, I was like, how did she get my information? I didn't give her authority to look at my accounts or look at my credit history or any of that. I call them up and I tell them, yo, this lady, I didn't give them permission to look at my credit. Like, she knew everything. She knew my social, my name, address, date of birth, how much I was paying on like a car loan. She knew everything. Of course, the agency claims ignorance. Oh, we don't know who you're talking about. We don't know who you're talking about. I canceled all payments. I said, you know what? Cancel payments. I'm not paying a single dime anymore. And that account just went away. Just went away. Luckily, I got lucky on that one. So the second aspect that I'm talking about is that even if you make a payment, and they're gonna try to get you every single time, they're gonna call you during tax season. Are we speaking to John Smith? Yeah. Oh, well, you owe us this, and we're gonna garnish your paycheck, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. If it's been a long time, if it's been 6.5 years, 5 years, think about it. You're like, in 2 years, this account will be erased. But the moment you make that payment, they're gonna get you again. So take the 7 year law with a grain of salt. Be very, very careful. So just to give, a few examples here, and I'm sorry to beat the bush or whatever. If you haven't paid, let's say you haven't paid in 5, 6, 6.5 years, and the 7th year is about to happen, then don't pay. Obviously, like you're gonna be your credit's gonna refresh in like 6 months if you haven't paid in 6.5 years. It's good. If you're brand new to credit, brand new to credit cards, brand new to student loans, and you might get in over your head because it's easy to get in over your head. They'll give you credit cards, they'll give you loans, they'll give you auto loans, they'll give you whatever. But then you gotta pay, and when you can't pay, they're gonna take it away, right? If you're in over your head, I recommend making at least at bare minimum the minimum payments because you never know what's gonna happen in the future. As I mentioned, you might meet someone, you might get a business. Yo, it happened to me. It happened to me. Like it happened to me. Here I am, and one of my family members comes up and it's like, yo, I'm getting a house for 250K. Come with me, co-sign on this, and you can have half the property. But it had to be co-signed, and I'm like, my credit was horrible at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I can't. And this was back then. This was a couple years ago. Now the property gained in value, and it's like I missed out on that deal. So that's the aspect of it. And another aspect is obviously if you're in serious depression, you're can't live with yourself, you might thinking about harming yourself. There's nothing wrong in filing for 13. Just know that for 7 years you're gonna be locked up. Work on yourself, work, save money, do what you gotta do. I hope this information has been helpful to someone. If you like this information, check out the channel. I do random videos and stuff like that. So, till next time, peace.